Okay. Alright, here we go. Hey. Sorry to bother you so late. I'm really sorry if I woke you. I would have called sooner, but this was the first time I got a chance. Look, I know you're probably very confused on who I am, but I promise you know me. You just can't remember anymore. Just give me a few seconds and I'll promise I'll explain everything. But please don't put down the phone. We've met before, but only once. It was last night at that party you went to. I forgot who even hosted it, but at the same time, I think everybody did too. It was so last minute that I think everybody was just happy they found a place to crash. I don't really live in town, and I was just visiting for the next few days, catching up with friends and stuff. And since yesterday was my last night, they invited me to that party, probably thinking it would be a good send-off or something. It's funny, you're the first person I've told this to, but I'm really not a big fan of parties. There's always so many people in such a small space. I tend to get claustrophobic, but I could just say no to them, so I reluctantly agreed. When I got there, I never really spent too much time inside. I would say most of the night consisted of me and my phone sitting on the bench out on the patio. Although later on, I ended up playing a game of basketball with a few people I can't remember, so I can't say I didn't have any fun, but even still, it wasn't the best. Once the party was over, it was almost 2 a.m. Since Annie was the DD, she was rounding up some of her friends to take home, and a lot of people didn't even have one. Most of them passed out in the most random places. Sadly, I was one of the unlucky few, but somehow I had it even worse than them. I couldn't find a bed, a couch, or even a chair. My friends were asleep, so I had no way to get back to the apartment. I remember stumbling around as I kept tripping over all the mess, just taking in what all happened while I was away. It's crazy how in the span of a few hours, the whole house was completely trashed. I feel bad for whoever had to clean that up. But, then, that's when I met you. The only other person who seemed to be still awake. You looked kind of out of it, if I'm being honest. I'm not sure if you were tired or if you had a few to drink. I don't know. I hadn't seen you the entire night, and you seemed like a nice enough guy. I didn't want to seem rude, so I said hello. You responded back with a friendly greeting. Very loudly, may I add. I had to shush you because you almost woke everybody up. We talked for a little bit after that. Not sure what about, but I remember enjoying it nonetheless. You were really kind and sweet, and I really liked talking to you. You just gave off this nice vibe that I wanted to be around. And all that went on for at least 15 to 20 minutes, maybe. I lost track. Maybe more, maybe less. But by the end of it, you pulled out a piece of paper from your pocket and asked me for a pen. I didn't have one, obviously, but luckily I found one laying on the table next to me. I don't know how I did it. It was so dark, but somehow it just stood out among everything else. You picked it up and started writing something down, and after a few seconds, you gave it to me. I couldn't read it because of the handwriting, but before I could ask what it said, you had already left. I'm not sure where you could have gone, but I didn't question it too much. I just grabbed my friend's keys and ended up calling an Uber. probably thinking that that night would be nothing more than a passing memory. I kept that note in my coat pocket the whole time, though. I didn't want to lose it, because I still wanted to remember you, even if I'd never see you again. As soon as I went back to the apartment, I quickly fell asleep, not even bothering to take off my coat. I was too tired to even think about it, but then, as I woke up the next morning, I had already forgotten about you. I don't know how, but somehow I did, even though it had only been a few hours. The rest of today went on without even a thought about last night. All until about 20 minutes ago when I got home, and the note fell out of my pocket, reminding me of you. I picked it up and read it, and finally figured out that it was your number all along, which leads me here, wondering if this is the same guy from the day before. It's a long story, right? Look, I know you don't remember me, and I'm not sure you'd even like me anymore, but even if you don't, I'm glad I was able to talk to you. It was the best 20 minutes of the entire night. And you don't have to call me back, but please, at least leave a message. I just want to hear your voice one last time. Even if it's only for a few seconds. It would mean a lot. Thank you for listening this far. I probably spoke for way too long. I wouldn't be surprised if I was talking to myself right now. There's a good chance someone will never hear this, but even with that chance, I'm hoping you will. Maybe one day we'll meet again. But until then, I'll just have to wait. Okay, I hope you have a good rest of your night.